Okay, hey guys. Been a couple weeks since I've posted, which is fine. I had my first real therapy session with my psychologist last Monday, which was amazing. My wife came with me, and she sat in on the session. So not only was it good for me, it was good for her. It was good for our marriage, and which is nice because our marriage is good to begin with. It really is, and I have the most loving, supporting spouse on the planet. I mean, everybody in a happy, loving marriage says that, but in my case, I think it might actually be true. On that note, she is actually going to be posting videos as well under this channel. She'll make her own playlist. She wants to give the wife's take on a lot of it, so that should be pretty interesting. Um, Other things that are new. I see my physician for the first time tomorrow. So, blood draw to test hormone levels, and then moving from there to truly start the transition. Um, I'm living at home, female full time. Um, you're looking at this wondering, I mean, right now going, you're not living female full time right now. I am. I'm just not wearing my wig. I am wearing not general, gender neutral clothes. Actually, I'm going to show these off because I'm a huge Halo fan, and I just got the Halo Legendary Crate 2 today, which came with awesome ODST shirt and pajama bottoms. And, of course, my undergarments are gender appropriate. I'm just not wearing my wig. It needs to be cleaned again. Wigs are high maintenance, and my hair's short still. My wife tried to help me trim it because it was just too unruly, and it didn't work out too well. But hair grows. Hair grows. So, fun parts of the update. School. Pretty much all my classmates know, and if anybody has issues with it, none of them are showing it off. I mean, everybody's fine. They're already asking me which name to call me. They're asking me what's my preferred pronoun. One of them, his senior recital for percussion and composition is this Thursday, and I'm playing on it, and he's getting everybody engraved flasks. And he wanted to know which name I would want on the flask. I mean, that meant a lot. It really did. Uh, it really meant a lot. Um, but some kind of cool stuff I just want to bring up. My wife, the evil genius that she is, has been looking into hair removal techniques because we're poor college kids with a toddler. So laser hair removal, although effective, is expensive. And you can't see it in this camera, but I do have stubble. I shaved like 12 hours ago. We are doing a hair removal method that's coffee grounds, baking soda, and coconut butter, coconut lotion, coconut oil, whichever those three you have and works. And it's really working. Like, my hair is softer. It's not growing quite as fast. It's thinner, and it shaves easier. And we're also using it on my chest. I used to shave my chest daily along with my face. Now it's every other day. My arms I used to shave every other day, and I haven't shaved my arms since, I want to say Friday. So 4 days. That's pretty damn good, in my opinion. Also, with my head hair, I've always had a lighter hair, not terribly thick, and extremely, extremely curly. Like, a couple weeks ago, this would have been like poofed out. But we have found a product that is actually working. This is the serum, and I haven't used the serum yet. I've just been using the shampoo. It's thicker, fuller hair. You can buy it at Target. And I'm not kidding. My hair is thicker. My hair is heavier. It is more full. I mean, it has still a bounce to it, but it's staying down into a more thick curl than what it was. I mean, here, I'll try and simulate it. My hair would normally have been up like, this isn't exaggeration, this is truth, what it would be without, styling it and keeping it down. But now, thicker, fuller hair, it's staying down a lot better, which is great. So, that coffee scrub. And if you want that coffee scrub, I'll get the recipe from my wife and I'll post it in the comments below. You'll like that. It works. And even if you just want to thin out your chest hair a little bit or anything, it works. I'm not kidding. It really works. And it leaves your skin so soft. That has to be the coconut oil. It really does. Let's see, other things. It's been a while. My entire family, with one my entire family that I speak to, with one exception, knows about my transition, but I'm going to talk to my aunt in person when I'm in Billings for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to call her and tell her over the phone. She deserves a face-to-face about it. She really does. But she's fine with this situation in general with other people, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. My wife, and I'm sure she'll post a video about this, her family knows. Her mother's a nice lady, always peppy, but obviously doesn't support us and actively thinks that we should be seeing a couples counselor and thinks that we should have been seeing him for months. She's one of those people that she sees one little thing, like one person's bad day, and assumes that there's a problem in the marriage because her first marriage, the marriage that produced my wife, was so flawed, so horrible. I mean, when you get dumped in a city with, like $20 in the backpacks on your back, and he takes off, I mean, come on, how good of a relationship is that going to be? And I mean, it jades you. I understand it. My two sisters-in-law, the older ones, they seem to be okay with it. I mean, they don't really like me to begin with. Different reasons that really don't merit talking about. They seem to be okay with it. The one's name is Jenna. She's not terribly fond of the name, but I have, in secret, been going by Jaina since I was 17, 18 years old, and admitting at least pieces of this to myself. So, let's see, that's 3 years, 4 years longer than I've known my wife. So, I'm not changing my name for her sake. To be honest, I think it's a little bit selfish of her. You could argue that it's selfish of me. I mean, neither side's going to win that argument because they're both valid points. My wife's grandmother on her father's side now seems to be okay with it. Touchy subject, and I'm sure I'm going to hear about it from my wife when she sees this video, but you know what, everybody has those little things. But it's important for me because family reactions on both sides are important. Her father found out, her biological father, not her mother's husband. Peter, I love Peter. Her stepfather's great. I consider him my father-in-law. I do not consider my true father-in-law my father-in-law. I don't even consider him family. He found out somehow, now riddle me this. He found out about my transition through YouTube. Now at this point, when you look up the keywords that might lead you to my page, transgender male, female, coming out, things like that, I'm at least 20, 30 videos down the feeds. I have looked. Like, at this point, I don't show up. And I realize, and I'm fine with that. I'm doing this largely for me. I mean, if somebody else sees it, it helps them, great. But I'm doing this largely for me, I admit it. But he says he found me on YouTube. And that's how he found out. I'm just going to call bull on that. I'm pretty sure either one of my wife's sisters or her grandmother told me, though they said they weren't going to. We don't talk to him. He's a highly emotionally and financially abusive person. When I mentioned husband leaving them in Billings with $20 in the backpacks in their back. I'm talking about him. I'm going to hear about all this anyway. I mean, he actively tries to destroy our marriage, is under the illusion that we should be sending our kid to him every summer. If the information I gathered correctly is right, recently wiped out his mother's bank account, which included her rent money, to do something in Minnesota. I don't know the details on that, but you get my point. I don't like the guy. He's not welcome in my home. That's not my rule. That's my wife's rule. So, There it is. Basically, my family, highly supportive. Her family, on the fence, are not supportive. But the ones who matter in her family who aren't supportive aren't the type of overt not support where they're going to harm our marriage. They'll just let their opinion be known and plod on with life, which, if you are not supportive of transgender, at least give us that courtesy. That's all we can really ask. So, other things, because we're going to be starting this, because I'm gonna see my doctor tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. I'm not kidding. I hate needles, but I'm gonna get a blood draw tomorrow to test my hormone levels. Needles, but that'll be great. That stuff's good. The hair removal's good. My family reaction is in general very good. I told a couple of my professors about my issue. The professors I have classes from every semester. I mean, one of them's the assistant director of bands and the director of the marching band. Wonder why I see him every semester. The other one is my studio professor, so he's in charge of percussion. I wonder why I see him every semester. I have a private lesson. I mean, I spend a solo hour in his office with him a week. I've known them both for like 10 years, so I gave them the courtesy of, in person, face to face. And their reactions were good. My percussion professor, I mean, he's an old Southern boy, but he's incredibly open-minded. He doesn't truly understand or grasp what transgender is, but he does not judge. And basically, he's not going to treat me any differently when my names and everything changes. He's going to switch the pronouns, switch the names, and he's fine with that. The true scope of the matter, he doesn't really get, but he's open and he's fine with it. That's what's important. He's supportive of the situation. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. I'm going to have to get up here for a second and go grab it because I want to show it to you. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So my therapist recommended me a book, and she lent it to me so I could read it, and I want to share it with you really quick. It's called True Selves. And oh, my wife's walking in the door. I'm going to pause the video for just a moment. I'll be back in a sec. Before I forget, happy Halloween. My wife and kid just walked in. They were at the Halloween party for the University Villages. God, I wish I was Mickey right now. Anyway, I was telling you about a book. This is True Selves by Mildred Brown and Chloe Ann Rounsley. Now, it's a little out of date. It was published in the 90s. Let me get you an exact date on that. 1996. Okay? I'm almost 100 pages through it, which puts me almost halfway. I mean, yeah, so you can see that. And I have a couple things to say about this book. One, I'm glad I was told to read it. Its statistics are a little bit out of date. In this book, it's saying that less than 1% of the population are potentially transgender or latent transgender. More modern statistics are thinking closer to 3 to 5% of the population. It's to some varying degree. I mean, some people are latent in their transgender until really late in life, but other people struggle with it for a long time. Some people know since they were little kids. It really depends on the person. Me, I didn't truly know my problem until college, but I still blame that on some family issues and how busy my school schedule was. But anyway, the statistics are a little out of date, and it presents some information in finite detail. Like, it says that all transgenders know, like...
It doesn't say transgender.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me find the quote. You know what? It'll take me too long to find that quote. It's fine. Basically what it says is that all transgenders know from a very young age, and that's just not true. A lot do, but not all. So it speaks in some finite terms. It also uses the phrase transsexual, which is still an accepted term, but in the modern nomenclature it's moved more to transgender, just to firmly isolate that it is a gender issue, not necessarily a sexuality issue. I identify as bisexual with a heavy preference towards females, so I'm closer to a lesbian than anything else. I mean, probably one of the reasons why it was always easy for me to skate around life not truly realizing what I was is because I liked those things.
Hey.
The big one, not the small one. It'd be creepy if I was like that about the small one. He's asleep. Best part, this is why you sleep train your baby. Oh, those are horrible snaps. There we go. If you ever have a pregnant spouse, girlfriend, or yourself, vacuum while pregnant. Turn your TV volume up. Do those things. It'll save you a lot. Trust us. He sleeps through anything, pretty much, aside from a squeaky door. And it lets me talk in a normal voice, and he's asleep right there. So that's great. But the book in general, I mean, as a general guide to understand the transgender experience and what we feel, it's a good book for it. I mean, don't take the finite terms so harshly. It speaks a lot about male to female transsexuals, transgenders, cross-dressing from a very young age, and that's not necessarily true. I've met a large portion of transgenders who have never cross-dressed until they came out. I mean, whether it was fear, or didn't understand, or maybe they just didn't have an effeminate style. Because just because you're transgender doesn't mean, and you're a male to female transgender, doesn't mean you're effeminate. I have known, I've met a transgender, male to female, and I'm going to use some slang terms here, and she's about as butch of a lesbian as you can get. I'm not kidding. I mean, she's all woman, she's gone through her surgeries and everything, but crew cut, tank tops, men's jeans, that's her personal style. So please, please, please don't assume that transgender associates with femininity for male to female and masculinity for male to female, because although I haven't met one, I have heard of female to male transgenders who have a more light or effeminate touch, but they're male. So realize that there's spectrums. Realize that just because you meet a physical male who's transgender, don't assume they're gay. Please don't assume they're gay. I'm not gay. Well, technically I am, because I really like women and I'm a woman. But just because you meet a male to female transgender, don't assume they like men. If you meet a female to male transgender, do not assume they like women. Don't assume they like frilly dresses. Don't assume they like masculine things, because it's a spectrum. It's all spectrum. But, so, this book, for general terms and just basic things and understanding and what large portions of the transgender population go through or experience throughout their lives, I'm about halfway through it. It's pretty good. My mother is a psychologist who deals with transgender issues in Billings. She is not treating me for ethical and preference reasons, mostly ethical on her part. On my part, mostly preference, because my mama is not my shrink. That might as well be self-medicating as far as I'm concerned. But this is good. If you have a family member or friend who doesn't fully get it, this is a pretty good stepping stone. From there you can answer personal questions. Like, to be honest, I'm going to recommend this to my percussion professor. It'll help him. As I mentioned, my wife will probably make videos. Don't be surprised if she makes one about family. I talked about family a little bit in this one, and yeah, she's going to probably swat me upside the head for a little bit of it, but you know what? I need to speak my mind. I need to say what's out there, and well, it's true. So expect another video about whatever my physician says tomorrow. Again, happy Halloween. That's a little cliche. You know what's funny right now? My wife's wearing my shirt. This is my shirt.
Looks cute on me.
Well, it does look cute on you. I mean, you can't really appreciate it, but it has these three rings, and I mean, it's gorgeous. But it's mine. It's mine. So, that's what's up. See you later.